Hey, it's Brendan Janetti, and you're listening to Music You're Missing. Before we get into it, I want to give a very special shout out to the Bridge app for sponsoring this episode. If you're an independent artist and you haven't checked out Bridge, you've got to get on this. Bridge is the world's first matching platform for music creators powered by psychology. Unlike other matching sites, Bridge takes into consideration not only your location, but also your personality and your skill set. Bridge is designed to get to know you as an artist and match you with other collaborators that will make great songs with you. I know you know my girl, Cara Diaguardi. She is a Grammy-nominated songwriter. She co-founded this project to bridge the gap between you and other artists and really break down the walls in the music industry. Bridge is building a really strong community of creators, and their beta app is launching this month. So go check them out on Instagram. It's at Bridge app. Bridge is spelled with 2 I's. I promise you this is a safe, empowered community where creators are in control. Now, without further ado, I am so happy to bring you Magic City Hippies. I'm actually a pretty new fan of theirs, and if you know me, you know that this is exactly my vibe. They're in the process of rolling out a new album called Water Your Garden, and they've experienced like this weird car accident based viral moment for their latest track, Champagne for the Rider, which also just so happens to be my favorite track of theirs. So you can hear that streaming right now on top of the Music You're Missing Spotify playlist. If you like what you hear, they're also playing at Big Night Live here in Boston on Thursday, January 20th. So just head over to bignightlive.com and you can buy tickets to the show. I'll see you there. All right, I'm going to shut up now and let's get Magic City Hippies on the line. So where are you guys? You're in Miami?
We're in Miami right now. Yep. We're in our studio spot called the Bridge here in like Model City and like kind of close-ish to like downtown Miami, north side.
Word. Okay. So you guys formed in Miami. Are we originally from there?
I am originally from there. I am the only true Miamian in the band. But I think,
these are 2 Florida boys though. Yeah. John's from Sarasota.
Sarasota,
okay.
That's right. But I've lived here for 13 years now, so this feels like my real home.
Yeah. I'm from Chicago, but lived in Miami for 12 years.
Yeah, they're unofficial Miamians, pretty close to official at this point.
So doing my research, was it your intention to do this? I feel like you were gigging and you kind of just like happened to work together and it just worked out, right?
Yeah. It's definitely just fun. It was definitely just something to do, a way to get out and be allowed in a bar. Yeah, like it was definitely not like the amount of diligence and like, the routine and like the hard work we put into it over the years. It was definitely not that way at first, which is important because we were just having a lot of fun together. And it was built on a natural, I think, musical chemistry, but it was definitely totally unrehearsed. Like we would just go play for 4 hours, get pretty hammered, honestly, and just play along and kind of feel a lot of freedom with like these versions of covers, like hip hop covers and Sublime covers and old school reggae covers and some new stuff or whatever that Robbie had this like repertoire of that, he used to just do with a loop station. And, I joined in on drums and eventually John was actually playing bass. And then, I had been producing for a while for like rapper friends of mine and stuff like that. And it was like, I really wanted to try to produce like Robbie's original songs and, was kind of bad at it for a little while. And then something started to click in like the summer of like 2012. We made a couple things that when we put them online, people responded. And that was kind of the beginning of like the official journey of it. But before that, for what, 2 years? Yeah.
This one time I flew out to Pat's parents' place and I stayed in his basement and we cooked up a couple songs and no one has ever heard them.
No one's ever heard those. Nope.
Not yet, though.
Right.
Honestly, I would love to hear that. I'm actually a pretty new fan of you guys, and I actually am so happy I found you. You guys are like the exact type of music that I like. I recently saw. Do you guys know Polo and Pan?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bro, I went to their show. I'm so fucking annoying when I talk about it, but like I've literally never been moved that much by an artist. Like it was the best show ever, and I've been looking for that high, and I know that you guys are going to give it to me on January 20th.
Definitely.
Yes,
so
sir.
do you guys bring out, how many instruments do you got with you? You have are we electronic instruments in production, and do we bring them all out live?
There's pretty much no regard for that. When we make the records, right? So it's just kind of whatever, however many layers and synth sounds, some program stuff, a lot of obviously like electric guitar and and electric bass and stuff like that. Live, it's 5-piece. So it's because in the studio it's the three of us, and live it's Robbie on vocals and guitar, John on guitar. It's been me on drums, and then keys that also doubles as a third guitar, and then on bass with also a synth bass. So it's like everyone's kind of expanding their setup beyond just one instrument, almost everybody. And then there's 808s. You know what I mean? There's like,
here's a dumb question.
Kind of tracked elements. Yeah.
What's
it is electronic a little bit, but it's a rock show, I'd say.
What's a synth bass?
Oh, a synth bass is just like a keyboard, but instead of making maybe a higher pitch timbre, it plays like the deep stuff, like deep sub bass, the stuff that rumbles your soul.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and Pat kind of spoke on it for a second. That the way we make our records is Robbie brings in a song and Pat's the producer, and then we are also our house studio musicians. And as such, when you're making the record, it is we're just passing around instruments trying to make the best part, and then live we have to make it work. So it's a very we kind of start from the backwards through the process compared to how it has done for the last 50, 60 years. But I think it makes the show something unique. It's something to kind of to marvel at it, how it all we actually managed, I think, to get the essence of the songs live, even though there is, I imagine, because you asked about how many instruments we're bringing, because there is so much going on in those songs, right? And with the five of us on there and a little sprinkling of tracks in there, I think it really is larger than life when you go to see the show.
How much of a creative input do you have on the visuals? Because that's such an important part for your type of music.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're totally 100% independent. We're not with a label or major publisher or anything like that. And so everything's kind of funded for the most part, from what comes in from people listening to the music, from streams, from selling merch, from playing shows. And so when we want to make a video, it comes down to like every dollar and like how are we going to make it look, and like planning the concept is something it's very much a conversation with who we decide to work with video by video, as the director. But we discuss that a lot, and we go, shopping at Goodwill and thrift stores and whatever, and try to get these color palettes and these like 70s or whatever, clothes. And, that's like a fun part of like, I don't know if there's a ton of continuity through all the videos lately, but it's just we kind of get to go song by song with the aesthetic and see if we can pull off something, out of pocket that enhances the experience of listening to the song ideally.
I really love the new visuals that you have for some of your newest releases. I think those are like, they very much so match the sonics, and it is exactly what I kind of wanted to see. So you guys are rolling out your new upcoming album, Water Your Garden. First album you guys created separately? Was the whole thing done separate?
No, just I don't want to say no. The genesis of the songs were creating demos that, most of the songs on this one Robbie wrote. I wrote like 3 of them. And we send them in. And this time they were like, because they were demos that we made at home, they're a little more produced, and then it goes to Pat, and he's the engine in the machine in the mind here that really makes it into what you hear on the record.
Cool.
And when we meet up in person, I think it's it was very evident this time around, because it was before this album. It was us all, the 3 of us, still living here together in Miami, and seeing each other on like what felt like a daily basis. It was like 3 or 4 nights a week, and pretty consistently, for years. And so that was just this process that kind of took care of itself. Like accidents would happen. Some idea would be brought up as a joke, but it would stick, like all those little beautiful chaos, like things that happen. And when you work remotely, it's a little bit more, that leaves less room for that. You kind of like overthink your thing before you send it to show it to other people via email or whatever. So it was, everything got started like that remotely. And I would get these demos from them that they already had a sense of direction to them. So a lot of them already had some drum programming and whatever. And then got to like pull it in another direction, but it would still sound like this. They'd still sound very unrelated, like all the songs, like not like a group of songs by us. And then once we met up together, that's when like things would those next like few steps would happen, where it's like, oh, suddenly it starts to gel into like kind of our sound.
Do you think you're going to take this process with you in a non-COVID world, or are you guys going to kind of go back to the OG creation?
I think it's inevitable. It's also like it has to do with the title of the album. Water Your Garden was obviously taken from the title track that John wrote, that we had, Maya as a feature on. But it's also kind of it's the reason we chose that as the album title based on all the track titles was it felt like that's what we were doing. I mean, obviously it was a choice made beyond a personal choice with the pandemic and everything. Yeah. But yeah, everyone lived where they felt they wanted to and needed to, with their partners in 3 separate cities. I was in LA, Robbie was in Bozeman, Montana, and John was here in Miami, and we're kind of taking care of our nest and our personal lives after years of a year of very intense touring and festivals. And it's like we're watering, our garden, and it's kind of an enlightening thing of like, oh, okay, it can be this way. Like it doesn't have to be something that's always taking you away, from your homeostasis or this or that. Like there is a way to find balance in the pursuit of like success in this like lifestyle. And so, yeah, I do think it's going to be hard to get people to like convince people they have to go back to offices and stuff too, because the world did keep turning, right?
And I think when you have that creative influence of, so Bozeman, I'm very familiar with, I can imagine being in that area adds a whole other element to the creative process.
100%. So many of the songs I wrote like riding my electric bike in the snow around the mountains. It's a totally different landscape to kind of like open your creative mind and stuff. I still want to live in Miami part-time and go record with Pat in LA. That's like the dream that I envision. And it's just a different flavor. You're almost spoiled seeing palm trees in like 70-degree weather on the beach all the time. It's kind of nice to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, you appreciate it more when you come back. Bozeman, let's talk about more. I lived, it got cut short because of COVID, but I lived in Big Sky for a minute. And honestly, it's funny you mentioned the bike. The first day I was there, someone got eaten by a bear on a bike. So that was kind of
watch out, Robbie, watch out.
No, it's definitely a thing. When I'm riding around, I see signs posted like bear sighting and stuff. It's wild. It's like literally right in my neighborhood.
Robbie's going way too fast on that thing for any bear.
He's got like a little motorized bike that he rides.
It's awesome. They like don't prepare you. I mean, I don't know who they would be in this situation, but I did not know that bears were that prevalent. You have to be strapped with bear spray at all times.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe the bear should have told you, The centralized bear committee could have, put out an advertisement.
Me, the one going into their environment. So you guys have played in Boston a few times. This is actually your biggest venue. Congrats. That's like some serious growth over quarantine. What's your relationship like with Boston?
We played a few different venues there now. What was I forget what was the first one we played?
Brighton Music
Ballroom
Hall.
or ONCE Ballroom.
Yeah.
We played there. Yeah, we played Paradise Rock Club a couple times.
Yep.
Now it's always cool to go from opening to playing it yourself, because the first time we went there we were opening for Hippocampus, and then the next time we came through we were playing there as a headliner. That felt good. I will say, actually, random memory popped in my head. The bass I bought at a secondhand shop in Boston. I bought this knockoff Hofner. Like Hofner's like the Paul McCartney looking bass, right? It looks like a violin. I bought like a Japanese knockoff by this company called American. It's just a sticker on it. But it was from the 60s, and normally, one of those from the 60s would be like very expensive. But since this thing was like just a well-made Japanese knockoff, I got it for like pretty cheap. And I love the way it sounds. That's just something I picked up randomly in Boston, and that's all over our music now. It's
really, I was going to ask that if it made it into
every
recording.
tune. Yeah, so that bass was a little Boston find.
Wow, that's a little stage tidbit for you if you need some talking time.
There you go. Yeah, this bass. While I'm tuning it up,
You know what is another tidbit that you guys, I think is, I feel bad saying that it's funny, but Champagne on the Rider, the rear ending situation that happened.
Oh yeah.
How did that video come across to you? Like, how did you figure that out?
That guy a lot of money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Was that planned marketing?
Yeah, that's our PR doing clever things. No, I think I don't know how it was in the comments a bunch. Like, so like the comment, like, so we made the like music video with green screen and like this animation and stuff, right? This is a trippy music video with this amazing dude, Cam, out in London. And then we had that up with the song. And I, at least with me finding it, I don't know if you guys found it earlier or something. It was just like, it was in the YouTube comments where people were like, oh, I'm here from like the rear-ended while vibing.
I was confused at first. I didn't understand what they were talking about. I thought it was like dirty.
And I just literally typed that into YouTube. I typed rear-ended while vibing. And then sure enough, the first thing I clicked was like that, you know, that song playing with that dude. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Otisor, I think. Driving with, I didn't realize people just have dash cams just for like, I don't know, insurance purposes or whatever. Or,
I certainly don't have one.
I would hate to watch footage of myself driving, but
the things I do while I should be driving.
Yeah, but he had his dash cam, and he's definitely vibing. It was awesome watching him vibe to our song. And then you can tell he's kind of paranoid about what's going on with the driver behind him. That seemed like they're like not paying full attention, and then all of a sudden he gets rear-ended, but he's just like he barely reacts, you know. He's just really like chill, doesn't even turn off chill. The song. It takes him a little while to like turn the song off.
He's still vibing even after the
he's still vibing.
Did that guy already have a big following, or did that video
not at all
viral?
No, that was his most viral video.
I think it's got like
collabs.
It's got like a lot of.
It's got millions of.
Doesn't have millions.
You got
maybe a million.
He plays. So I did have an idea. He plays some instrument. I think he plays guitar, and he was shredding to one of your songs on it. And I was like, hey,
to that song.
Yeah, we got to get a content.
That's the second thing. It has almost a million.
There you go.
Views on YouTube. I don't know if it's hit the talk. I don't know if it's hit TikTok, but that would that maybe that's what we need. But. Yeah, that was such a like you can't buy that kind of random marketing. Like I think we have a lot of people coming out to, like, I've seen comments and stuff on our Instagram where people are like bought tickets to your show from the like found you guys from the rear end of all vibing thing. You know, it's like
no.
Great,
awesome. The shitty thing is I know someone's gonna hear this and be like, all right, I got to do this for my artist. Like who can we hire?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad though. That was one of my questions. I was curious if you did see growth from that.
I don't know if it's moved the needle super far, but like definitely like as far as just direct people engagement, like new fans announcing themselves in comments and stuff is like, I found you guys from that rear end video.
That's awesome.
There's definitely at least 100 of those.
So Champagne on the Rider, genuinely, obviously I listened to your whole catalog to get familiar with it, but that honestly is one of my favorite tracks of yours. Love it. Tell me this. I don't feel like people listening don't know what a rider is. What is on your rider?
Champagne.
Champagne. Well, I guess. Yeah.
So we
Stella Artois.
Nice.
We have like 36 Stellas. On Fridays we have a bottle of gin. On Saturdays we have a bottle of tequila.
Got to mix it up.
Ice, limes.
Perrier.
Perrier, lots of Perrier. There's always a giant case of
Then
wine.
we have food.
Yeah, there's like hummus and veggies.
Nice.
Bananas and apples. It's mostly just for us.
Like those cayenne like ginger shots.
Oh yes, that's
nice.
Yeah. Oh, and kombucha. That actually helps.
Yeah.
When you're a little hungover, a little kombucha to settle the stomach a little bit goes a long way.
Nipple ice. We also have. You may be wondering what that is.
I'm actually super curious.
Yeah,
that's one of those. What do you call it? A red herring?
Yeah,
it's what our tour manager puts on there to make sure the house.
Just to make sure they read it, and if people have fun with it, sometimes they actually do supply nipple ice, and they label it, nipple ice, and we're like, wow, thank you very much.
I hope you guys start icing them up out of courtousy, out of respect. That's
we requested as a joke, and then we're like, oh, actually. I understand. We need this. We need some nipple ice
on this winter tour.
Winter tour, yeah.
I've dealt with some riders in the past. None of them. Yours is very normal. I think my funniest one that I always say is Mike Posner. He asked for cans of beans and he just never ate them. So I just had to supply this man with like 15 Heinz cans of beans, and they just stayed there in the green room.
Nipple ice. I think that's his nipple ice.
You think that's his nipple ice? The beans?
Yeah. I mean, there's like a test, right? It's like where like just to be able to trust that everything else is fulfilled. I mean, that's the whole story about Van Halen, right? Like they said no brown M&Ms or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and so they would just, I guess the point was they had all this other stuff that was very important, like safety wise, like this catwalk and all this stuff. And if they went into the green room and there were brown M&Ms and the thing, they know that maybe everything else isn't really taken care of.
Yeah, the show set up by carnies or something. Yo, how cold is it in Boston right now?
It's pretty cold. We were having a.
Give me a number. Give me a number,
someone.
Fahrenheit.
20 yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
We just had our first snowfall and it's definitely sticking. So get ready for that.
Go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we're ready.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get cold very easily.
John's gonna put on 3 long johns.
I wear long underwear and a thermal shirt once it gets below like 70, and I just wear it the entire time on the road.
Never
no matter
takes
what.
it off.
Yeah. So I got my boots and everything, but I'm trying to mentally prepare because I looked it up the other day, a couple of the places on the route, and I was like, wow. Here we go. We haven't done a winter tour in 2 years. We were really hardened. Maybe got a little soft the last 2 years because we were road hogs 2 years ago. Yeah. I remember just being like, we are just flying through this right now. We were killing it. And now maybe at home in Miami, my blood's gotten a little warmer or colder, whichever one that would be.
Well, no, I mean, it sucks when you're here because it's not like, no offense, it's not like beautiful. Like the snow's not beautiful in the city like it is in like Montana. So it's just shitty. It's just cold and dirty. Not to really
Boston's
not
so
sell you.
Cold.
But
So cold. Last time we were there, it's like that was really, really cold.
A lot of times we're coming off from New York and we're like pretty hungover, and then it's like, oh my God, here is like snow, like because it wouldn't be snowing in New York. It's still cold when we get there. Like, this helps. This is a good part of my hangover right now.
Rejuvenating.
Was it the last time? Actually, the last time I played Boston, we were super sick.
Oh my God.
This is pre-pandemic.
That's what I remember the most. Is that was my sickest show playing.
No way.
Boston. I think it was Paradise.
That was at Paradise. Yeah, Robbie's voice was gone, but we went up there and we did our best.
Are you like dreading it when you're in the moment? Like, are you very aware that you feel like shit while on stage?
Yeah, I mean, you're pumped full of drugs and you're ready to go.
It means a lot more.
Medicine. Yeah.
It means a lot more.
We just like inject Robbie with get back out on the field. I
mean, Robbie's singing lead. He sings the entire show, and I'll play. I got very used to playing shows sick. Now, post pandemic, you kind of think a little more about your health in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't post the right word, but as where we are now, right? And I've had a show where I drank like 17 bottles of water on stage because my throat was bothering me, and I had to like turn around and blow my nose a bunch, and that's very not rock and roll. But that's totally different than like Robbie's physical instrument. It needs to be well oiled, and like it's. So I always have such respect for Robbie when I see him up there, like getting through it. Yeah, it didn't happen really on the last tour at all. I think we're taking better care of ourselves, but definitely in the past,
because we had to be in a preemptive COVID bubble and not seeing anybody,
right.
And somehow still, in spite of that, we still got like we didn't see anybody. We didn't I don't know. It was just a matter of I think like playing some venues where you could really just be isolated, and other venues where it's like, the green room's on this side and the stage is on this side, so we have to walk through this entire crowd of like variably masked people.
But those rules.
But yeah, we do have better tour habits like for sure versus like you quickly learn that even though that's maybe the party night for the crowd every night, like that's the night that they're coming out, or that's the weeknight they're going to come out and go to the show.
Yeah,
you cannot party 6 nights a week. You will not make it.
Yeah.
That's interesting to hear though, because I feel like everyone just kind of assumes that, especially this genre, that you're a little gone on stage in a polite way, not like trashed.
If we have Robbie doesn't drink or smoke before the show because he used to, and that's such a respect to Robbie for doing that. Like Rob, I'll have a couple gin and tonics and we'll smoke a little bit before going on stage. But we take what we do kind of pretty seriously at the same time. It's one of those things that like, what it's like to have a show that isn't the best one,
Yeah.
And you learn that way early on, way like when we were, first hitting the road, even here in Miami, And so when we go up there, it's a laser, We're definitely up there. Even had a couple drinks. If I'm the most alive and like electric and all all my neurons are firing in full cylinders.
Yeah, you also never know who's in the crowd. Never know what could come from a good set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I will definitely pound 3 beers after the set, though.
Oh, I mean,
instantly.
So that being said, new year, what are our goals for the new year? It seems like you guys are super established, and like you also are kind of at a fun point in your career where you can finally hit the road again. Biggest venues yet. I'm excited to see what's happening. I wonder what your actual goals are, though.
I would love to see what comes out. I mean, just because there was a pandemic, and because it's harder to get on fest, like you're not prioritized to get on festival lineups if you don't kind of have a new body of work that you're pushing, because we're coming out of the gate with the rest of the full length on the 21st, right? On the 21st the album comes out. I'm excited to see what festivals pop up for the rest of the year. That's always a lot of fun to just kind of get that in your inbox throughout the year and see what the spring and the summer are going to look like. Those are also such like I don't know. I don't have a better word for like a melting pot of of artists. Well, it's just cool to like go to be in the artist area at like Bonn or whatever, and it's just something. And it's something that that's a festival that missed 2 years in a row. So I'm hoping that I really hope that things look up the rest of this year, and that the festival circuit gets to return to normal, because that's something I think we enjoy a lot, and we hope to be a part of with the new record out and everything. So as far as goals, I would say that's something.
I'll
I feel when we get to play in the road, I feel very connected to who I am. Something about being on the road, I feel like fulfilling my life's purpose. I just realized also the day we play Boston at midnight that night, the record will come out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I just looked it up. So yeah, we're gonna play that show and end, and while we're like packing up our shit or whatever, the record's gonna come out.
That's so exciting.
It's gonna be a big night. I'm looking forward to that.
Wow, big night at big night. I'm gonna have to spread that word, and maybe we'll have a little celebration for you guys. I think pending the world is finally up and running, that being on the festival lineup is very realistic for you guys, and I know I will definitely be in attendance. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for calling in. This has been awesome. I'm so excited to see you guys January 20th at Big Night Live, and as we just found out, we're celebrating the release of Water Your Garden. So yeah, thanks for calling in.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
Peace out.
We'll see you soon.
Absolutely so happy to have Magic City Hippies on the show. As I said, I found them recently. Normally I have people on the show who I've been following for a while, but Magic City Hippies I'm kind of new to, and like I said, they really are my exact type of music, and I'm so stoked to see them next week and hear their new album when it comes out. If you liked this episode and you want to listen to more of their tracks, head over to Music You're Missing, the Spotify playlist. We just put our favorite tracks from their new album, Water Your Garden, on top of the playlist. And a special thank you to Bridge for sponsoring this episode. Again, if you are a creative in the music industry, go follow the Bridge app on Instagram. It's BRIIDGE, and they'll keep you in the loop when they roll out their beta app. All right, that's all for me. Go have a good day. Bye.